What is up, entrepreneurs? Welcome to the Friday Live Day. What's going on, everybody? Super pumped to be here. Super happy and glad that you all are here to be a part of the Friday Live Chats with me, your host, Diana Gladney. So today we're going to, or this evening, or depends on where you watch this and when you're watching this at. If you're watching it on the replay, and it just so happens to be a sunny day, I hope you're having a great day. If you're watching this live, welcome to the stream. Guys, I'm excited. We're going to keep this one nice, short, and sweet. So we're going to be talking about building your business using YouTube and online video. As you guys know, I am a minister of online video. I just love the gospel of online video. I love the fact that we live in an age where I can be in my home office after a full day's worth of work, where I maybe worked a little bit and I can work full time for myself, and I can connect with people all over the world. Now, quick announcement. I want you guys to know that in December, there's what's called Vlogmas. Here on the channel, for the first time ever, we're going to be doing Vlogmas. So if you've been curious as to what's been going on with the Canon M50, you're going to get a chance to see it. If you've been curious just how crusty my eyes are in the morning, you're going to get to see it, allegedly. Now, we're going to be doing Vlogmas. I hope to keep those videos short, sweet, straight to the point, as well as showing you some things, some behind the scenes of how I run my business, some different tips and stuff like that along the way. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit that bell, and you'll be notified, hopefully, if YouTube does their job. Otherwise, become an Entree Insider. Join the Entree Woman TV community, the email community, and I'll make sure that you guys get email notifications of that kind of stuff. But we're going to be doing Vlogmas. I'm super pumped and excited. I've never done Vlogmas. I've done other 30-day video challenges, group challenges. I've done Vlog Every Day in August, and that was pretty tough. But just different stuff. So even like when it comes to just all of the different facets of running your business, working a job, and how you manage the two. And then on top of that, dealing with my health challenges and things like that. And so, I have a little bit of me coming from the doctor recently, but other than that, it's not a whole lot, thankfully, that's going on. But more on that in the Vlogmas. So we'll see how that goes, but those should be fairly good vlogs. I would hope so. But otherwise, let's jump into today's content. Now, let me get over in the chat because we got us some peoples in the box. All right. What's up, Matematica Humanista? What's up, Carlos? Good to see you. Seb version. I kept missing these. Good evening. So I forgot. I can do this. So we got Matematica Humanista Carlos, aka Carlos, in the chat. We got Seb version. Said, I kept missing these. Good evening. Hey, it is A-okay. I try to make these hopefully at a time when people are after they've, left work and stuff like that. Maybe you've had a chance to eat or what have you. And as well as accounting for those that are on Pacific Standard Time and all those good things. Try to get it hopefully in the evening time after everybody is off work and stuff like that. And then I usually hang around on the channel for a little bit afterwards just to make sure I respond to any comments that get posted to the videos and stuff like that. So I'm glad that you're here. It's good to see you. Good that you are here. All right, guys. So I just got 3 real points within this topic that I kind of want to talk about, and just really like a chat. No slides today. I thought about it and I was just like, no, let's just do a live chat, and feel free to engage, ask questions, or anything like that along the way. As you guys know, I love engagement. I love for you guys to communicate with each other and all kinds of stuff. So Carlos, you saying, hey, Dan, I had tough days. Sorry for being kind of off, always following you. Hey, man, we all have them. I've been going through my own challenges as well, so I definitely understand. But I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you just being a part of the community. I see what you're doing on Facebook and stuff like that. So you're still persevering along the way, and so that's awesome. And just congrats to you on your success. You may think that it's not at this point, but I encourage you that it is. So just know that it's all good in the hood. And so a few things, like I said, I just want to cover 3 real things that when it comes to, building your online business. And I think at times we get thrown off because you see all of these different people out there. For whatever reason, we always try to compare our beginnings to somebody else's middle, or our middle to somebody's end of their journey, and things like that. And when you try to do that, then you are misplacing and you're misrepresenting your efforts, and you're putting them in an arena where they don't belong. And so there will be different times, like, so I did, I don't know why I thought this was funny, but that's just my nerdy quirks. So I've been using the Panasonic ZS70, which is just this little point and shoot camera with the flip up screen. So I've been using this to do and start doing the recordings and stuff like that for Vlogmas, and that's what I'm probably going to be using, because I just sent the Canon M50 off for repair, or an estimate for repairs or what have you. So I'm using that, and I am trying to see how things are going to go. And I put on my Instagram story that, you know, that it's coming in at 200 pounds. We have the heavyweight champion of the world, the Panasonic ZS70, and this camera is already, I don't know how old it is, maybe a couple years old or whatever. But it's just the fact that I originally didn't want to. I wanted it for sometimes, not to be like an everyday kind of carry thing, but that's what I've been doing, and I like it. And I can just turn it off, the lens retracts, I put it in my coat pocket, and I go on. Even this jacket that I like to wear all the time, it has pretty deep pockets, so I can put it in my pocket and I can go. And then I picked up the G85 so I can put it up there, and I'm like, man, this feels heavier than it used to feel to me, because I've been carrying around light cameras, even though that camera in itself is fairly light. And so, you know, it's like I can consider this little point and shoot camera the heavyweight champion of the world or whatever, but in essence, it's pretty much a lightweight. Whereas if I am trying to compare it to the G85, or I am trying to compare it to the M50, which may be a heavyweight or a welterweight or whatever, you know, but they're, even in boxing, there are different categories. You never take a lightweight champion and put them against the heavyweight champion. It's just like there are too many differences and the variances. And the same thing is with business. You try to find somebody that you idolize, that you admire, and that you care about what they're doing. And so you want to not necessarily mimic them, but you're modeling your business after them. And there's nothing wrong with modeling your style and something that you do after somebody else, or you're inspired by what they're doing. Case in point is Casey Neistat, who is a vlogger on YouTube and pretty popular. And he gets a lot of people to really start vlogging for the first time, to be encouraged. One of my favorite vloggers in the world, his name is Pastor Trey Van Camp. He is a vlogger, and he was inspired by Casey Neistat, and he's helping out in the nonprofit and the church world so much simply because he was inspired to do what somebody else is doing. And sometimes I'll see little hints of things that I've seen other places that he's putting his own spin on, or something that maybe from a vlog that I saw Casey Neistat do, he'll do something similar. And it's just like, but it's his own thing. It still has his own essence in there. And so there's no way to take away from what he's doing and call that truly his own. And so he was inspired to do something. He's not necessarily mimicking, but he is beginning to, you know, model certain things after certain people. And now he just completely, I feel like, is doing his own thing. Same thing as it is when you're building your business, or you're trying to build your YouTube channel. And I believe you should do them together, simply because you will grow faster than you realize when you're putting yourself in an arena that you're not comfortable in. And so when you think about, you know, who is it that I want to model myself after, and, you know, what is it that I'm trying to do here, then when you really think about that, then you can start to figure out what direction that you want things to take, what hold you want things to take. So my first thing is just like, what kinds of questions is your audience searching for that you plan to answer? And so when you're developing your business model, and I was saying this on the podcast today, that, you know, you have to have your online video marketing content strategy wrapped within like a crescent roll. They got the cinnamon and the sugar and stuff on the inside. For whatever reason, I'm always talking about food somehow. But you know, you have this a cinnamon roll, the cinnamon and the sugar and all that. It's wrapped in on the inside, and it's a part of it versus it's just sprinkled on top. So it'd be completely different if it was literally just sprinkled on top. It wouldn't be a cinnamon roll. It'd be a biscuit with cinnamon on it. So that's the difference. So you have to figure out what questions is your audience going to answer and figure out within the confines of your business what exactly can you answer for them? There are a lot of questions that I'm sure that when people may have first come across my business, because my stuff was confusing at first, even for me, because I'm trying to find my way when I first started my YouTube channel in July of 2016. And so when I started my YouTube channel, I didn't start my YouTube channel with the intent to start a YouTube channel. I just wanted it to be a place, almost knocked my water over. I just wanted it to be a place that and I shouldn't sit that on the laptop either. I got too many electronics. If I get shocked, somebody call 911 for me, okay? And so I didn't want to start a YouTube channel. I just started uploading stuff to YouTube because I wanted someplace to host the videos, and YouTube is a free hosting site, unlike, a place like Vimeo or Wistia or something like that, where you had to pay at least maybe 80, 70, $100 or something like that to host your videos. Well, I could host my videos on YouTube and just upload it to my website and not have to worry about anything. And so that's what I originally started doing. But then I got serious about it, and I said, this is really a thing. As a consumer, sometimes we don't pay attention to our own behaviors and the things that we're doing, realizing that the people that we want to connect with, that we really want to do business with, it's just the same thing. The same stuff that you look for, the same genuine stuff that you care about, or the same things that turned you off. The same is true of those people that are in your audience. Even if you haven't developed what you're going to be doing in your business just yet, then those people still expect those things from you. And so you have to realize, so like for me, my biggest thing was always like, I want to be real. I can't be a Marie Forleo. I can't be a Sunny Lenarduzzi. I can't even be a Jessica Stansberry. Like, I can't be those women because I can only be me. And I'm a little bit hood sometimes, and then I'm a little scared sometimes. And then I'm a lot nerdy, and a lot goofy. So those are my combination of things. I like neo soul music, and I also like rock and roll and classical music. So at any given time, you could come up to me and ask me what I'm listening to, and it may very well be Think and Grow Rich or The Richest Man in Babylon, or it could be a church sermon, and then it could be Guns N' Roses. So, it's a very dynamic situation. However, you can only really be yourself. And so you have to have your personality come out. You have to have your sincerity and your genuine essence come out on your own channel and your company and your business and your website. And so I think when people first get started, they model too much to the point that it does become mimicking after somebody else, and then you don't like it. I spent so much money, and so many times I've had my website refreshed finally until what I'm using right now, that's me, and then finally getting comfortable with not, because I like, for example, I like to wear this hat in the wintertime. This is my jam. I just love it. It's just me. That's my thing. I like to keep my hair and my head covered in the wintertime. And it's usually some kind of woven hat like this, but more or less, you can go back to 2013 probably on Facebook, and you will see this hat in the wintertime. When it comes around for the summertime, I'm wearing my St. Louis Cardinals hat, my blue and my red hat all the time. That's just me. I like to wear jeans. I like to wear, this, that, or whatever. But at the same time, I also dress up occasionally, but that's not who I truly am. If you saw me in the store or on the streets, this is me. So the same me that you get when you come to this YouTube channel, the same way I engage with you all and we crack jokes and we, talk stuff in the comments or whatever, that's the same genuine person. So when the day comes where a meetup happens or whatever, that's who you're going to get. It's the same. And so when it comes to trying to build your tribe and attract your audience and the people and figuring out what they're searching for, they're also not just searching for the content, but they're searching for somebody to connect with. As human beings, we're a social species. And with that being said, we're looking to be social with other people. And the more that our values and the things that we care about align with what somebody else's interests are, then you become attached to that person. Then you start to care about their stories. Because in the beginning, people really don't care about you. They're just searching for information. And the thing, too, you have to start before you're ready. You have to start before you're ready. So what that means is that when you're uncomfortable, when you're scared, when you have ugly brown bookshelves like I did, simply because that's what I just carried with me from wherever. It didn't matter. They were just bookshelves. But then when I started to needing to be more visible, I'm like, well, I should probably be concerned about my brand. And what do I want somebody to know about me? What do I want them to think or something like that? I don't want you to pay more attention to the bookshelf than you care about the books on the shelf. So I want that to not be a detractor or a deterrence or some kind of distraction. So I started, getting rid of the distraction, brought in a friend to help me. I'm like, can you do something with this office for me? Like, I spend so much time in here. Make this my space. And she finally came in. She made it my space, helped me to make it my space. And so now I spend like hours a day where I can just literally just get lost in this space because this is my space. And I'm sure that no matter what other creators that you watch, they have their space in their stuff too. So not only is your audience searching for questions, but they're also searching for a connection, for somebody to learn from, because when that happens, somebody wants to connect with you. They don't just necessarily want to connect with the information because they can get that off of a blog. They can get that from a Google website search. They can get that from anywhere. But when they start choosing to get that information from you, then you've hit gold, right? So let me jump into the chat because I'm hearing it pop, pop, pop like popcorn. So let me jump to this. So Alter Text say, whoa, that's hella true. Michael Simmons, what's up? You in the house? So all right, I'm gonna speak English today. Which YouTuber do you model yourself after, or who do you draw the most inspiration from? So when I am thinking of a connection with somebody, I don't only think of a YouTuber. I also think about people that are dead, like Napoleon Hill, as a mentor, as somebody that I'm aspiring to be after, that I listen to. My journey that I go through to get me to the point of inspiration, to make me want to model after somebody, I'm searching for an answer, much like probably how most people's things are, but this is my particular flow. I'm searching for an answer. I start finding different people answering those questions. I find somebody who seems like their value, their style, their way of delivering that information, so their delivery mechanism, that it gets to me. It's something like the music, it's something about their vibe. It's just, you can't really put your finger on it, but it's something about that person that connects with you. Then when I start looking on the website, I may hop on their email list for a little while just to see what that's like for, within their email community. And then I start looking about, what other answers do you have that I can find? And once I feel like I've found somebody, then I will figure out, do you have a podcast? Because you won't watch a 25-minute video every time I upload something unless I've really, really gone deep with the community. But you will listen almost to the entirety of a 25-minute podcast without any question. You won't even think to stop. And if you do, you want to go back and finish it. People don't do that with video. And so when I find that kind of stuff, then I'm like, okay, I got this. So the people that I love Pastor Trey Van Camp. He's on YouTube. I listen to him constantly for so many different reasons. I love Cliff Ravenscraft, who has for years been known as the podcast Answer Man, but he's changing his branding and stuff now to the Mindset Answer Man. He's kind of getting more into personal development, online business training, and things like that. And so I love, Cliff Ravenscraft. Cliff Ravenscraft. I like Jessica Stansberry. I'm not saying that I love her because I just haven't, I'm still kind of teetering, at different times. Sometimes it's content that I can connect with, and at times, for whatever reason, it's not hitting with me. Of course, my brother from another mother, Sean Cannell. Sean is for real, Sean is somebody who, I punch you in the face for him. That's how I feel. That's that kind of feel for me, like a brother sister kind of connection. And he is somebody that his whole everything is something that I can get on board with him, and as well as his mentor, Chalene Johnson. Simply because the same way that you get lost in listening to somebody, you want to know everything that they've learned, you want to hear everything that they have to say. That's how I feel about Sean. That's exactly how I feel about Sean. So those are my key people that I go to back and forth. Like I said, for real, Pastor Trey Van Camp, For Real, Sean Cannell, and then, Cliff Ravenscraft, and then there is a couple other people and stuff like that. But if you've gotten me to the point where I want to not be on your podcast, but listen to your podcast, I'm re-listening to stuff over and over and over again, then that's who I want to be connecting with and learning from. And then the last person, but not the least, is Brady Shearer of Pro Church Tools. So that's my team. Mentally, that's my team. Let's see here. So Carlos, you're saying, I'm a math teacher and I have two different purposes. The first is helping people that are struggling in school and university with depression. That's very common on math courses. That is incredible. And that's so powerful because I'm somebody that suffered from that. I used to have like severe anxiety, so much so I was on medication for anxiety attacks all the time. I know it really get bad when I just kind of get paralyzed about it. I used to have to leave work about it. Just all kinds of stuff. Like seriously, it was so bad. And I think the thing when it comes to math and stuff like that is that it hits on your incompetencies. You can be genius in every other area or facet of your life or do something incredibly better than anybody else, but be bad at math and it pricks at your soul and makes you feel just severely incompetent. So that is like those two niches, they tie in so well, and there's such a huge market for that. So Michael say it's a biscuit. All right. So Carlos, you're saying the second is building influence in order to sell books, and I'm not going to even embarrass myself right now. We're just going to say materials, pedagogical materials. Did I say that right? I don't know what that is, but to sell books, and that's another thing like with books. So like you can see back there, over there. So those are 4 like Bible style books or whatever, or actual Bibles. I haven't really cracked them open yet, that I just got from my mom because I teach teen church at my church on Sundays. So I do that in assistance with my assistant pastor at the church. And so it's just like when you get to the point that somebody wants to pick up your book and they're going that's a whole nother level of going deep with somebody. And those also tie into other areas of producing different content. But it's the when and the how it's delivered. That's why, I have the Entree Chats Daily podcast. I do certain stuff on the email, certain stuff on the podcast, certain stuff on YouTube, because based off of who you're trying to reach in your audience, there are different things that they want to connect with in different ways and receive that through different mediums. So what that means is that I want to see you change your oil for a car on video so I can learn to do it. I want to hear you talk about the overall process of how a car works together because I can listen to that and just continue to stay in my craft, even if I'm doing something else. I want to read your book because I want to go further and deeper with you in the knowledge and the space that you have. And most people won't read a book. My band director used to say, if you want to keep somebody from stealing money from you, put it in a book. Because I guarantee you there's nobody that ever comes into a house that steals the books. They always go for the TV or the whatevers. So my house is safe because there's only one TV. And other than that, it's just cameras. So I don't spend a lot on consumer tech like that. So, but that's awesome. So Alter Tech, you're saying you're agreeing with Carlos that you're also into helping people with depression and mental health care system sucks. AI is the future for happy therapy. That's another huge area. That's another really huge area because we were honestly not designed to receive all of the stuff that we receive, all of the different advertisements that we receive. I was having dinner with my parents yesterday and was sitting with my dad at the table, and we were just talking, and he was showing me this game that him and my nephew were playing. And it's just ad after ad after ad. And one of them suckered him in to thinking it was like something else. And he clicked on it and I was like, they got you. But we weren't designed to receive all of these digital signals. It's just like overloading a computer. Even they shut down after a while, right? Even like for my Canon M50, this whole power adapter issue. I believe, like most of you guys were saying in the comments, that it short-circuited. It sent too much power through it, more than what the camera was designed to do, and the camera shut down. We're the same way. That's why we can, get static electricity and shock somebody. You carry that electric current through your body, and if you touch something, or if you know what I'm saying, like you transmit energy. And so, with that being said, it's just like it's a lot of work mentally that a person would have to do to be able to stay on an even keel. And even then, you still need help. I was just in a chat for a podcast that I listened to, and the video portion of that was uploaded to YouTube. And a young lady in the comments because it was about mental health. So a young lady in the comments, she was saying that she, wants to go to counseling, wants to go to therapy, but she was afraid. And there was so many of us that were just encouraging her to do it. I go at least once a year, at least once or twice a year, just to make sure that everything is still where it needs to be, or get some other resources. And I was talking about this on the podcast. If I used to play basketball in high school, middle school and high school, if I'm willing to go to my coach and ask for additional help about little things, like the difference between you having your elbow out like this and bringing it in like this, or even just slightly, or even just that slight something that you do with your hand to make the ball go one way, versus another, it's complete. If I would go to a basketball coach for assistance in those small things, that a slight adjustment here makes a huge difference by the time, that ball has gone over to the net, 3 or 4 feet away. And it makes it look like I never even aimed for it. If I'm willing to go to a basketball coach for a slight adjustment on something like that, we need to be more comfortable with going to some type of mental specialist, whether it doesn't have to be a psychiatric type doctor. Go to an actual counselor that won't issue you any medicine, but they'll give you the tools, the resources, the books, the podcast, or whatever, so that you can make those slight mental adjustments and stay where you need to be. So I'm definitely a proponent of positive reinforcement and mental health. So you guys having a good time in the chat. Yeah, you're awesome being you, Diana. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So the great thing about Diana is her identity, honesty, and her way of putting things. Thank you so much. You guys are so wonderful. I appreciate that. Very straight and honest. Love this girl. Thanks. Appreciate you guys. So Alter Tech, we're going to throw them on the table. Carlos, are you making YouTube videos yet? So I'll let you guys keep that chat going. I'm going to scroll down, jump to any questions or anything like that. And then we'll jump back to these couple points. So Michael, you saying you listen to Napoleon Hill daily. That's what's up. Okay. So Carlos, you're asking, how do you include our comments in your live stream? This is all Ecamm Live. And so I think I have a link down in the description for my live videos. I just updated that yesterday or day before yesterday, but this is Ecamm Live. So, and I believe with that link, it gives you a free trial, or at least a free way to try it out. But you just click on the comment over in the comments and reactions box, and then it pops up on the screen and you can adjust how it looks. A lot of great pro functionality with a basic skill level and understanding. So I really love it for those reasons. So that's how. So I don't even know how to pronounce this name. Capilona. Listen, y'all embarrassed me trying to pronounce this stuff. You got some really good content. Thank you so much. Really hope your YouTube channel takes off. Thank you. All things happen in good time. So it's all good. So let's jump back to the content. So second thing, number 2. So what purpose will your YouTube channel serve? This is something that's very unique for each individual person, because everybody's style is different. Everybody's personality is different. And the types of people in the same market that you want to attract are different. And so they'll attract to different people for specific reasons. So let's get more specific. I'm not the only education, business, video marketing type channel, but I believe I'm the only channel that does it in the way that I do it, because there's no other channel with me in it. So that for that simple fact, and that there are different parts of me, so nobody really makes fun of me on this channel, on my channel, or in the comments for using antiquated words or phrases. That's something that I always come across where people say, man, you really use a lot of old words. That's because I care to. I like them. I don't know. I'm probably 72 on the inside with a 30-year-old body and mind. So, but yeah, it's just like some people say you have an old soul and you've been here before. If I had been here before, I would have left myself some money, okay? We wouldn't be here with the same financial headaches, okay? We would be straight, okay? Living lovely. But, it's just like, from the quirks, the jokes, the whatever, it's not because you're trying to be somebody else, but simply because you're trying to be yourself. Not even trying to be, you are. And so when you think about what you want, what purpose that you want your YouTube channel to be, not just that you want subscribers, not just that you want a huge audience, or that you want the affiliate deals or the whatevers, because those bring their own challenges. So far, I have not done any type of sponsored content. Like, this video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you want a brand new, I'm so sick of like hearing that, but at the same time, I understand. Not knocking anybody that does that, but I understand. But so far on my channel, I'll say offers that I've gotten, one either hasn't been from that great of a company that I really want to, do a brand deal with, or it was not relevant to what I felt would best serve my audience. And so you have to make those tough decisions. When somebody starts flagging and waving money in front of your face, and you know what your financial decisions are, you know what your financial challenges are, it's easy to take a quick payday. It's not easy to build rapport and build an audience. That takes time. Nobody knows how long it actually will take you to build the same business or the same brand or the same YouTube channel with the exact same content. I see people all the time that steal Sean's video from Think Media, will steal his video, everything, intro, him on the video, like, rip it completely from YouTube, take it from his channel and upload it to theirs as if it's theirs, and continue to do that. And those videos don't go anywhere, nowhere. They don't get a quarter of the amount of views, engagement, or anything that his video gets. Why? Because it's a fake account. It's a fake person. You know what I'm saying? This information is just as good. The affiliate links, even if they're that person's, they're still going to work. The content doesn't change. If he's recommending the Canon M50, they put the Canon M50 affiliate link for their stuff for Amazon or B&H or whoever in the description. It's still going to work. You would still get paid. What's the difference? There is no authenticity there. There is no heart there. There is no consideration for the person on the other side. And so when you think about the different things that you want your channel, what purpose you want your channel to serve, you have to really take into account those specific questions. Who do I really want here, and who do I really not want here? I do not want people here that don't get me, that want me to be somebody else, that always have a problem with always telling me what I should do. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And there may be some things that you say that they won't even subscribe or hang around simply because you say them. So there is something that Pastor Trey Van Camp was saying in a story that he was talking about. He was saying how he would say, "What up?" That's it. He'd just say, "What up?" And if you look in your analytics, you can see from, specific minutes where somebody falls off in your video, where people are, just like, you'll see it start off very at the top and then it just tanks down. And if you go there, you'll be able to see every time, "What up? What up?" Or people get pissed in the comments. Why you always got to say "what up?" And he had to realize for certain things and for what he was doing, for who he's wanting to track, they don't like that. Other people have said the exact same thing. Now, if somebody tells me they don't want to hear me say the bee's knees, let me tell you, take this. Boop. Goodbye. Go away. I'm not getting rid of it. Matter of fact, I'm going to make pop sockets about it. I'm going to make coffee mugs about it. I may just dye this hat yellow and put the bee's knees right across the top. It's just like you have to be who it is that you want to be. And so your channel has to reflect that so that they automatically know. Don't confuse them. Let them know right up front, this is who you are. This is what you're going to get. This is what it's about. And this is what it's not about. I used to have challenges working with nonprofits. Nonprofits are so complex, but it's really not. It's just that people make things difficult. And so working with people in itself is its own challenge. But when you work with a board of people with a bunch of different personalities and, this and that and whatever, and it's just like, I don't even want to deal with y'all no more. And so it's easier to take on a contract for a nonprofit and to receive payment that way. And you're guaranteed not to run into any payment issues that way. It's hard to say or make that decision. I'm not working with nonprofits anymore. But when I decided I'm only going to do one-on-one coaching with some other entrepreneur that wants help starting their business or getting their business to where they want it to be, and I'm not working with nonprofit organizations, I started to profess that everywhere, on the podcast, in comments, in stories, and everything. I want it to be blatantly clear. If you are coming to me with a board and you're saying you want help, I will direct you to somebody that can help you. I'll answer your questions or something like that. But to take that person on or that entity on as for a coaching contract, I will not do. Because when I say something to a client, I've already gone and take them through the process of what it takes to work with me, how much it costs to work with me, and what things are required of them for us to work together. Not that I'm some butthead or something like that, but so that they can be dedicated to getting the results that they're saying that they want. And when you're working with multiple personalities and multiple different types of just personalities, everybody they may agree that they want the results, but they may not agree on everything that you say. And so it's just a battle and it just wasn't worth it. And so you have to let your audience know who is it for based off of the things that you have on your YouTube channel, how you're presenting that information, how you're going about describing it, and all of that stuff. And so you have to let people know who this content is for. And you also want to let them know who it's not for. And I will tell people straight up, if you don't think that you want to get through these 9 coaching sessions with me, if you aren't dedicated to what you're saying that you really want and that you can't get through this because you say that you had to work an extra 5 hours of work this week, do you really care about your passion and the thing that it is that you're saying that you want? Do you really truly want the thing that you're saying that you want? Because if you don't, let's not even do this. You have to say that you not just say that you're serious. I have to get a sense that you really are serious about this, because I don't care what you have to do legally, legally, and doing things the right way, of course. But I don't care if you have to work an extra 2 hours a week for you to be able to pay for coaching. If it's that serious, you know that that's for a limited time only. You're not even worried about jobs if you're saying that you're wanting to start some center, that you're wanting to do this. You will do what it takes to do it. And so I was talking on a previous podcast how I was asked on an interview last year, like somebody asked, well, why haven't you quit your job yet? How is it that you're able to do all the things that you're able to do, even though you have these health challenges? I said, because when it got to the point to when I woke up from having surgery, had major surgery in 2016, when I woke up that day after surgery, I was in excruciating pain. But when you get doctors waving papers in your face and you have your mother sitting there freaking out because somebody tells you that you almost died, and then I compare starting an email list or a YouTube channel or a comment section to what somebody's going to say, when I compare it to that thing, it will never measure up. So it makes it easy to step over those obstacles. So you have to have your why intact for what you're doing, because most people will talk about it on YouTube. And if you watch any of the creators like Roberto Blake, like Sean Cannell, like Tim Schmoyer, if Daryl Eves, if you watch any of those guys on any YouTube channel, they will tell you about how the comment section gets bad after you get big, and people say you're selling out, that you did this. That's another thing. So pro tip. Make it plain for what it is that you want and what you don't want. The same way who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with, who you want to help and who you do not want to help. So when I first started my coaching business, I kept running into people that needed for real counseling. I'm not your girl. I'm not going to cry with you. I'm just not. I barely cry for me because there's work to be done. Seriously, there's a time and a place for that. I'm not one of those women that's just going to sit and let's cry about it together. No, let's get up and go do something together. Let's go put a plan together. Let's go get some daggone coffee and sit down and work this out. I'm a very practical person. But then I have my friend who I help her and I work with her, and we work together on different projects throughout the year, and I'll speak at her events, and she'll get up and and I always mess with her because tell her the sweetest little story and just tears all over the place. And so it's hard for me sometimes to be at the event because I'm not crying with the women. Sister, when you're ready to wipe your face and get up off your butt to do something about it, let's talk. Let's get to work. I know there's a time for that. And that's why I said, some people are for you and some people are for me. And so I kept running into challenges, running into those type of women that need that kind of assistance. Our coaching sessions are strategically designed so that you get the result that you want. And yes, you will have personal self-development challenges. That's why I have all these books all over the place. I've read them. I've gone through the content. I've taken myself through the content. So when I'm talking to somebody and I'm helping them through something, I'm not just like being mean or harsh at all, but I need you to be realistic that you can't always spend your time soaking in your own sorrow and sitting in your own shit. Wipe your behind. Get up, get to work. And so when you think about what purpose you want your YouTube channel to have, you'll run into those kind of challenges where you think about like, oh, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do it. Make stuff plain and make it very clear. So I kept running into people that were having, issues where they have, maybe they really do have depression. And you can see that, you can sense that in certain trigger words. And I read even psychology books. There's plenty of psychology books that I've read, because if you spend so much time with yourself, you need to know how the brain works. You need to know what the psychological imbalances and where they are, knowing what your own triggers are. People say, well, they pressed my button and this now. Well, put your buttons away. Put them in your pocket. If you don't want that button pushed, put it away. A light switch only hangs out so it can be flipped up or down. It's supposed to be moved around. If you don't want nobody messing with your stuff, put it up. If you have those challenges, go get help. I encourage people to go get help. So when you guys talk about wanting to help people and work with people that have this chair slide one more time, I move it, it moves. But when you want to help somebody go through that kind of stuff, it takes a certain kind of person to do that. And you're going to attract a certain kind of person. And you need to let those know who you're looking for and what kind of challenges they're having and who you're not looking for. And so, like I said, I was running into those challenges with my business, and the same thing was true of my YouTube channel, because I kept having these free consultations with people that I get them on the phone, and either they couldn't afford me, which I'm not expensive, so they couldn't afford the coaching package that I have, or they had challenges where they actually needed to go to counseling, and that's where that conversation would lead, and just be a listening ear and a support for them and give them the right resources. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to counsel people like that, You'll have limiting beliefs. That's one thing. But for real, dealing with depression, like we need to get on top of this, like right now. And so when you think about the purpose of your YouTube channel, it's the same thing. Same thing, like they need to know, what am I going to get here? What can I expect to receive? That's why, they talk about your YouTube banner being so important and all of that different stuff. Same thing with your website. The home page has a specific purpose. The about page has a specific purpose. All of those different things have a specific purpose. That's why it's taken me so much time to get this new site together, because the content has shifted slightly. It shifted slightly, and so the website copy has to change a little bit and meet those specific needs and all of those different things. Your playlist, what playlist? Going back to question one, what content are you going to be kicking out, basically? So two, when you think about the purpose of your YouTube channel, I should be able to go through your playlists and see what kinds of topics overall, series that you're covering, and get lost in that. That's how I got in touch and got into the ecosystem with Sean Cannell. I had spent a year looking at somebody create videos with a DSLR, and I'm like, man, they are just like, those videos look so good and so crispy. I want that for me. But I was scared. And I was like, well, let me just get a little point and shoot camera. Let me do this now, whatever. And then I decided, I said, well, shoot, I'm going to go ahead and do this daggone thing. I'm going to just go ahead and do it. Got the Canon T5i. And just at that time, he had just released a video on how to get the videos right for your Canon DSLR. I made notes. Like, I ordered the camera on Amazon. I started watching the videos. I started writing down notes. I started really intensely studying the different concepts, and I started putting stuff into practice. And so when we go back to who are you modeling yourself after, I just straight up mimicked. Watch them early videos. You'll see stuff from all kinds of people if you watch a lot of YouTube content. I just start trying stuff. What fits? What doesn't? What do I like? What kind of like is like this, but it's me, like in this space? You know, what do I like to do? What's my opener? What do I want to talk about? Just when I open up the podcast, I say, what's up, entrepreneurs? What's up, entrepreneurs? Well, hey, they're entrepreneurs. I'll say something like that. Maybe a slight something from somebody else, but then I throw my own spin on it. When I'm starting this YouTube, and always remember, my friends live with passion. The my friends portion came from Cliff Ravenscraft, but I also wanted to address my audience as my friends because I want a friendship with my community the same way he has. In my emails, and as always, my friends live with passion. In my videos. And with that, my friends, I'll see you guys on the next video. You'll see it over and over. So you got to think what purpose you want your stuff to serve. Align your content to be with that. Align it with your personality. Hook that stuff in so right. So when somebody finds your channel, it'll be a comment like I saw from this young lady. She said, I've been looking for this kind of content. I'm so thankful I found your channel. That's what you want people to say when they're coming across your stuff. So third point is, what is your unique selling proposition? So USP, this is like a regular business term that you will see in the textbooks and all those good things. However, let's just break it down into regular, everyday common talk. Why do I want to follow you? Why do I even care about you, and what makes you different? That's really all that is. There are other people that call themselves video marketing strategists. The person that comes to mind specifically on that specific title is Jessica Stansberry. There are other small business coaches, but I'm not teaching you about, investments. And I wondered at first when I first started my business, I was like, do I have to talk about all this stuff? Like, how deep do I need to go into taxes with? Like, I really don't want to. Like, I don't know anything about buying a building, for a corporate building for like that. I had to get my mom on here to go into all of those different intricacies of a contract and the building codes and what things you need to look for and the type of outlets. Like, she knows all that stuff because I grew up, I can remember at 10 and 11 years old, my first job, unofficial job, was answering the phones at my mom's job. I had my own computer station. I had my own stuff. I worked at the front desk. That was my job. I answered phones. Got to the point I sound just like my mother. Even now when people answer the phone, they be like, hey, Sharon, I want to know, did you get that Johnson file? This is her daughter. So I don't know anything about that stuff. And I didn't want to try to fake the funk. They say fake it until you make it. No, you have to faith it until you make it. Faith, faith it. Believe yourself to be where it is that you want to be, but don't fake something that's not you. Don't fake something that you really don't have. I had to faith that people would show up on a live stream. I was thinking about this the other day. I said, man, I really, every week been getting more and more people on the live stream, get more people engaged and stuff like that. I had to start faithing that to be there. I had to start showing up and actually set a date and time for it to be a live stream for people to show up. I had to engage and talk in a video. I remember my first live streams were on Facebook, and I was trying all kinds of stuff. I had got one LED light. It was just as cheap as this one is, but it wasn't as good. It was like a green hue, like a lime green. The content was good on one video, and I wanted to use it for an example in one of my recent videos. It looked like trash. Like, you don't know how bad you were when you first started until you get better. And then you look at your stuff and you're like, man, I thought that was the best video ever. I was lime green. Lime green. That light was so bad. I had to send it back. But it's just like, you have to faith it until you make it. I would say that. So, hey, make sure you leave down in the comments this and that question. Let me ask you this now, whatever. Question of the day. That's Sean. I got that from Sean. He probably stole it from somebody else too. So, it's like question of the day. And I'm like, I don't really like question of the day. Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to talk to you just like I would say something in you. Let me know where you're going to be at later. Let me know down in the comments. I want to, I'm saying things in my own way. It's still the same. Hey, make sure you comment down below. Or, hey, question of the day. I didn't like that because everybody else was saying question of the day. And if if you meet me in real life, I'm going to say, hey, let me know where y'all going to be at later. So the most realistic thing for me to say, let me know down in the comments, what do you really think? Do you really, really think that this is that and whatever else? You know, the same personality trait. So it's essentially the same context, my spin. Same context, my spin. So that's the kind of stuff that you really want to think about. But what makes your stuff unique to somebody else's stuff? I learned about Trello, for example. Let's go back to Jessica Stansberry. I learned about Trello from her. When I get ready to do my Trello video, it's going to be different. When somebody else is talking about not a home-based business, when somebody else is talking about a small business, they're not specifically talking about a home-based business. It's very different from somebody that wants to open an office location, even if you want to grow to that eventually, but, you know, or you're immediately looking for a loan on that. And I remember that's why I stopped doing my Passion to Business podcast. I hated it. I start hating my own podcast. I started to delete it. When I did this new rebranding and got my website and stuff going a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm going to delete all those episodes. But the content is still good. I'm probably going to rip that stuff out and just get the meat and bring that over to Entree Woman TV and bring it on to Entree Chats Daily. But I hate it. Some of the interviews, I hate it. And it's just like, I'm talking to random people that I don't know anything about, thinking that you know what you're talking about. I can't even vet that if you do or if you don't. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know who you are. You know, then you're going to refer somebody to this. Here's a free resource so you can get on their email list. And I hated that song and dance. If I'm not going to do a song and dance at my job, I'm not going to do a song and dance in my own daggone company. So I was like, I'm done with that. I'm done. I think the last podcast episode was me telling people I'm done with this podcast. Meet me at Entree Woman TV where I can finally be me. I hate this. Because everybody else's podcast was like that. Everybody else's podcast did stuff. And it's like they now have an intro and an outro. But it's like me. I picked my own music. I did hire a girl to do a voiceover for the outro that she did originally for Passion to Business podcast. But I'm like, don't say no names on that one because I may want to use that. She's like, okay. So I wrote the script for that. And then I did that. And I'm like, well, give me the raw audio. And I want to find my own music. I don't want this beat bop poppy music. Like, I like some bass. I have a problem with that even in my videos sometimes. I'm editing and I'm cutting the video together. And it's just too much bass. Like, you can't even hear me talking because I didn't cut the music up so much. I'm just jamming over here while I'm editing the video. It's too much bass in the video. But that's me. You ride in the car with me. Either we're listening to a book or we're listening to, it could be a song. It's not a rap song because I don't really listen to rap. But if I do, it's old school stuff primarily or something else. It doesn't matter. It could be classical. Turn the bass up. You know, that's just me. Put your own spin. What's unique about you? The bee's knees, my little nephews, they couldn't pronounce the bee's knees all that well when they were like 2 and 3. So they used to say cheese the wheeze because I say geez Louise a lot. And so they just used to think that's the funniest thing. So the stuff that I'm doing now is the stuff that I've done forever. I've been saying, geez, Louise. I've been saying, you know, dag, you know, or forgot my daggone hat or forgot my daggone camera. You know, like I've been saying that stuff for forever. So what makes you unique already in real life, bring that over onto your channel. Bring that into your business. Bring that over into what you're doing. Because the last thing that I wanted is somebody to hire me as a coach after seeing videos, after, you know, reading a blog post or whatever, or listening to a podcast. And then they get the real me and they be like, you ain't the, yeah, who are you? You know, who are you? You know, so same thing, bring that over. And then also figure out though too, what other dynamics, what can you go deeper in? What other dynamics exist within what you're doing? So Carlos was talking about mathematics. There's a creator his name is, or not his name, his channel's name is Story Greenlight. And he has the concept where he describes, in the way that he describes it, it's called the thing under the thing. This is such a powerful content. You can, so not even content, it's a powerful piece, period. The thing under the thing. So the thing is, you think you have issues with math, which you very well may. But the thing underneath that is your belief system of believing that you're not really good enough and that you really are incompetent, and that you're stupid, and that you won't amount to what you need to because this one thing is in the way. That's the thing under the thing. So it's really not about the linear equation. It's really not about, it's not about the Pythagorean theorem. It's not about geological equation. It's not about any of those concepts. And I think the Pythagorean theorem that's math. I think it's geometry. So, but it's not about any of those things truly, but it's the thing underneath the thing, to knowing that you have an incompetency issue. You have a belief system issue. So already marrying those two together makes that a very unique selling proposition, because there may be somebody that teaches you the Pythagorean theorem and how that works together, but there's nobody getting to the core of your real issue. And so that's why I always say live with passion. I want you to live and breathe and eat your passion. Like I said, when I think about when I woke up from the hospital or woke up in the hospital from surgery, I will never forget that day. Never forget that day. I just talked about it in the recent podcast, and I really couldn't. It broke me up so bad. It's just like I gotta get off this mic because I'm gonna cry, and I'm not a really emotional person like that. Just to burst out crying at this, just at a drop of a hat. But I will never forget that day, because when I woke up, and it wasn't until I had to talk to my sister. I got out of the recovery room, went to my regular room. And then I talked to my sister, and she was like, she didn't know, because she was just telling me ain't nothing wrong with you and this and that or whatever. And she really didn't believe anything was wrong with me until like after the surgery or whatever. She just figured it would be, I would go in and they figure it's nothing, like I'm over exaggerating or something. She didn't really believe anything was wrong. And so she called me on the phone, and she was just telling me how she really just like, she's sorry. She didn't realize it. And like this is serious. And I just started explaining to her, and I'm like, and when the words came out of my mouth, Dina, I almost died. They're telling me like, my surgeon stopped to go get another surgeon out of his surgery to come help on my surgery. And this is like a middle of the night, like accidents kept happening that night. It was a Friday night. Accidents kept happening, and they kept pushing my surgery back, because you're getting people that's coming in with their head cracked open. And so I'm just like, man, I'm just going to go home. I'm just going to keep dealing with it, because nobody even knew. I had went to like 4 different specialists. Nobody could figure out what was going on. And so when I finally got to that doctor, he's like, we're just going to do an emergency surgery because there's too much going on that we don't know about. And then by the time, it was that night, I'm just like, Mama, let's just go home. Let's just go home. I'm tired. I'm just like, I'm just beat. I'm beat. I'm tired of dealing with this. And so it wasn't until when I had to speak those words out to my sister and really explain to her what was going on, I'm like, the last thing I want is to end my life not finished. I don't want to end life not finished. And so when I said, you know what, I've been putting off starting my business. I've been putting off all of these things. What are they going to say at my funeral? She was a great coworker. She was funny. She was a great aunt. Good sister, daughter. No real work had been done in my life yet. I hadn't started doing anything. I just turned 30 this year. Next year in August, I'll be 31. So I'm just really getting to the point of some kind of realization of things beginning to happen in my life, because I waited so long just playing small. Because you figure you get to it, you get around to it. And that stuff just doesn't come. You have to start before you're ready. And so it was that instance that made me start before I was really ready. I had to go back to work before I was ready. I still had surgical stitches. I had walking back into work slow as hell. So when I say live with passion, you really have to live with the reason for why you're even doing this. You have to live with it. Not that you just care about something, but you're living with this thing. It is a part of you, just like an organ in your body. So when I say live with passion, I truly mean that. And so that's why I was like the Passionate Business Podcast, and then I messed over that name. So I'm just called Entree Chats. Let's just have a talk about this. Let's just get down to the nitty gritty. Let's just keep this real, base, and raw. So I can do this on my phone. I can do this on a microphone. I can do this wherever I feel like, and let's just keep this raw, just like how I want things to be. And so when I say, I'm talking about starting your business, yeah, you got to start at home. You got to start at your dining room table. Hell, you got to start in a closet if that's what it takes. I've seen entrepreneurs be like, yeah, this is my home office. No more than that somebody took the sliding doors out of a closet in the hallway. That's their office. And you can do a lot with little. If you can honor the little things, you can do a lot with more, and you'll be blessed with so much more. But I'm going to jump into the comments, and we're going to rock and roll and move this thing along, because we're at that mark. So to save the integrity of this, I'm going to go through this. Man, y'all been killing the chat today. And if you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're watching this on the replay, I appreciate you being here, sticking around for this long. And let's see here. So Alter Text says, yo, what's up is my intro line. That's awesome. So, Carlos, you're saying in the USA, you have an expression that I love and that we don't have here in Brazil. Shut up and let your work do the talk. I love that. And I must say that Diana's work is one hell of a talker. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love that. Very competent one. Awesome. She should teach let me read it over here. She should be a YouTube coach. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But Carlos saying she's already mine, but she does not know it yet. I guess I do now. That's awesome. So Michael Cunningham, hey, how you doing? Welcome. Haven't seen you before, so welcome to the channel. Welcome to the community. Said, have you gone full time? No, sir, I have not. And specifically, if you care to know, so my health challenges, I battle a disease called endometriosis. And so that, deals with a lot of different things. And because I wasn't sure if I was going to have surgery or anything like that, and I haven't honestly figured out how the whole health insurance gig works as a full-time entrepreneur. And then too, for my standards, I have not reached, not like I'm high rolling or something, but for my standards financially and the goals that I have set, I haven't reached those yet where I'm making a specific amount consistently over a specific amount of time. So I want to know that for 12 or 18 consistent months that I'm able to make a specific amount of income, not have it dip down, so that I know that should anything happen, should I have to have some, because different prescriptions are higher than others and different procedures, whether it be inpatient or outpatient surgery, like those, I'm thinking about all of those different things. So no, I haven't jumped the gun on that. If I didn't have my health challenges, I probably still would work simply for the financial goals that I have set. Those have not been met yet, and I want to do things decent and in order. And so it's just not there yet. The Business of Art by Paul Adams. Hey, Paul, glad you're here. It says, put your buttons away. I love it. Alter Take saying, I have my psychology book from college right next to me. It helps to understand yourself and humans in general. Yeah, them textbooks, and one, because you don't get much money if you give it back to them, because a new version is coming out the following year. But I keep just about all of my textbooks for the most part, especially those that matter. It's one on the brain. It's a white and black, white with black print in a green book. It is over on that little bookshelf back there. But it's something simple like Understanding the Brain. It's a very small book about the size of your hand. But it's like I'll go through that book at different times. I specifically picked it up when I was starting to get more depressed about my health. And you just start saying stupid stuff to yourself or feeling stupid. It's just like if anybody else said the same things to you that you were saying to yourself, you punch them in the face. But because you're saying it to yourself, for whatever reason, you begin to accept it. So, it's just like I've done so much work. I've gone to counseling, got different tools and things like that. And really my thing that I learned from counseling the most was writing. That's why I write just about everything down, and I journal a lot. I've been keeping a journal since I was 16 years old. And so from that time up until now, I have just like journals, all of just like chronological journals of my life of different challenges. And so I could go back to reading a specific journal and learn that if I'm still carrying those emotions from when I originally wrote that thing, I haven't moved past that challenge yet. But if I can read it again and go through that situation again and think about it differently from a different perspective or whatever, then I know that I've grown in that area. Or even if that thing happens again or a similar situation or somebody mimics the behavior of somebody else, then I know that how to deal with that challenge or if it doesn't affect me. Because a lot of times people will say, well, I don't care about what they say. It don't affect me no way. and then they hurt on the inside, and what they're saying is a lie. And so I didn't really just want to say that stuff. I wanted to truly mean it. But then too, it's like you become so much more freer when you learn to manage yourself mentally and emotionally, because I believe we were never intended to be ruled by our emotions. And when you have so many different things, hormones in the food and environmental stuff going on or whatever, your body's taking on a whole lot of damage. And so don't think that your mind isn't affected as well, because if the air is toxic, you're breathing in all kinds of stuff. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like you gotta imagine that your brain is taking a toll as well. Learn some different tools to help yourself along the way. So I definitely love that. So, Michael, you're saying, how do you sell yourself as an expert in your field without the following? Nobody has to call you an expert before you decide that you're an expert. You have to make that decision upon yourself. If Forbes publishes something that I said tonight in their publication tomorrow, it wasn't Forbes that decided that I was an expert. It was myself that said that. Like, you have to get to a certain level in your mentality and in your belief systems to even have enough balls. You got to have enough balls to say whatever that thing is that eventually gets picked up by somebody else. That belief system has to be there. And so eventually, as you're learning things and as you're taking on more clients or selling whatever it is that you're selling, and you see your ideas begin to work, then you know that, you're starting to get more experience in that field. But if you don't have a lot of experience or whatever, it doesn't mean that you're wrong. Maybe your results just haven't caught up with you yet. There's a phrase that overnight success takes 10 years. By the time somebody sees that you have blown up, or that time you get on the radar, you've been at this grinding for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So were you an expert at the 7-year mark, or were you an expert when some big publication that people assume is great or whatever, or actually is great, says that you are? You have to call yourself a professional. You have to call yourself that thing. If you play small, people will treat you small. When you begin to own who you are, and you don't have to, like I said, don't have to fake it until you make it. But when you begin to own who you truly are, people will see it. Are you a basketball player the day you hold a basketball, or the day you call yourself, I'm a basketball player? So the Bible always says, call those things that be not as though they were. You got to say what it is that you want, that you're believing. Nobody called me a videographer. I decided I was one myself. And then people start getting me gigs. They start hiring me. Yeah, you're a videographer. Can you do? I sure can. We take debit, Visa, MasterCard. Just you got to decide that you're a professional. You have to decide that you're an expert. You have to decide that this is who it is that you're going to be. And then you have to stand on it and operate in it. Walk in it. Walk in it. Own your mistakes. Own that you don't know everything. Own that everything that you try isn't going to work. But that doesn't mean that you're not an expert. So, and to help you with that, probably pick up a biography or watch somebody's story of somebody that you respect or admire or something like that. Whether it's a YouTuber or some business mogul or whomever, they called themselves an entrepreneur first. Your family won't believe that you're an entrepreneur. Your family won't respect that you're an entrepreneur until after they see what they consider the results. I really respect my sister, one of my sisters in particular that I'm thinking of. And it was just like I was coming to get my nieces and nephews, because I'm spending more time with them now, to teach them these principles and stuff like that. Let them see this in operation so that they can get whatever help and ask the questions and stuff like that. And my sister was telling me that she was telling her kids that they need to spend more time with me and to really dig into my brain and ask me specific questions, because I'm great, because I'm a professional, because I'm a coach, and because, I know all these different things. And so now it's like I'm starting to see the family start to respect more of what I'm doing or whatever. But you're an entrepreneur before anybody gives you kudos. You don't need their pat on the back for you to be who it is that you are. You just have to stand and walk in it. So, Ultra Tech, number 1, why do I want to follow you? Number 2, why do I even care about you? Number 3, what makes you different? I'm taking notes. Heard that. That's what's up. So Mike, you said that's true. That's a true Diana. Okay. So Carlos, you're saying exactly, Diana. I'm surfing on people's underground. Love your metaphor. I gave a couple, so I'm behind on the chat, so I'm not sure which one. Says, do you Do you all have a chat room or something? Would be cool to connect with you all. When I first got on Facebook, I was thinking about a group. But then the groups were so messy at that point, and then people were just coming in doing whatever. But I will tell you this that's coming. So with my new website, I have the ability to have courses and communities and stuff like that. And so I guess I'm telling y'all first, but so for the Entree Insiders, the people that are part of my email community, what I'm designing right now is a way for us to have essentially like a back end office of a community portal, so to speak. So I'm thinking of what to set up specifically for that, because I do have one big course that I have to plan out that's for a group coaching program where I'm going to be walking people through, I think it's 7 weeks that I have outlined. So once I'm done with that, I'll probably be able to set that up for the Entree Insiders so that it's a community for that, because I don't want to be on Facebook, because once Facebook decides they don't want to push out content, then you're not getting that. And YouTube changes their algorithm and stuff, so I don't want to rely on them, because I'm always getting comments and stuff, especially like from Michael, that not getting notifications of stuff getting pushed out. So I'm not relying on anybody else's playground to make sure they got the toys that I want. So more than likely, that's probably going to be available and it's going to be for free, just for like a community hangouts and stuff like that for the Entree Insider. So if you're not on the email list, I would suggest that you get there, because that's where that content is going to be coming out at. So Alter Tech, you're saying, well, question, or in quotes, what are they going to say at my funeral? Wow, powerful stuff. It's just, it bugged me, man. It's like okay, so I had that thought when I don't even have that coffee mug in here, when my mom and dad came to get me out the hospital that day. They gave me a coffee mug, and I shared this on Instagram. They gave me a coffee mug. All right, y'all. I'm a G. I ain't shedding no tears tonight. Okay. They gave me a coffee mug and some flowers. I couldn't even really walk, so I was in a wheelchair. And my mama kept bringing it up that I almost had died, and I had just not long had that conversation with my sister. So all I could think about was the last thing that happened at work was I had, hit some record of numbers, because I work in banking, and I've worked in the financial services industry for some years now. It's probably close to a decade. So I didn't want the last thing that somebody said about me is that how many loans did I book, how many driver's license or social security numbers that I verified, and how much fraud that I prevented from the bank, or how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that was. I didn't want nobody to say nothing like that about me. I wanted to have impacted people's lives, and it bugged me for me to have a family as big as I have, and have a lot of nieces and nephews, and they're just now really starting to come of age. I hadn't done nothing for them. I couldn't be the influence that, my aunt and uncles have been for me in my life. And I hadn't had that time with them yet. I hadn't had the stuff to, it's like I didn't have nothing to give them. Not like a house or a car or something, but I didn't have, Like, I didn't have time with them yet like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm working all the time, and I'm like, this is not where it's at. This is not what life is supposed to be about. Like, I believe everybody has a purpose. I believe everybody has a passion, and that passion and that purpose deserves to be birthed into the world. You deserve for that to be here, because there's somebody relying on you to show up so that they can get started. I had those thoughts when I was on that drive home. When I was on that drive home with my parents, I felt every bump. I felt every stop. I felt if there is a way to be fully awake, just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to be consciously aware of everything that's going on. I'm conscious of my breathing. I'm conscious of stretching. Like, it was so much pain. It was incredible. But in those moments, I wasn't even focused on the pain. They give me as much medicine as they can give me, and I still was feeling it. So I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't do nothing but just think about what I really, really, really wanted my life to be. And it wasn't about the subscriber count or on YouTube or nothing, but I knew that there was things that I'm supposed to be doing while I'm down here that need to happen. And if I don't start, it won't start. And one of the quotes that always have stuck with me is that the fact that the richest place in the world is the graveyard, because it's full of people's hopes and dreams and purposes that will never be fulfilled because they never got started. I heard that years ago and I never forgot it. And it didn't become real for me until I was almost one of those people in that daggone grave. And it's like, you don't have to almost die for that to become awakened in you. But for whatever reason, for me, that's what it took to get my butt in gear. Everything else after that ain't nothing. My life has not been the same since then. And so every day before I go to sleep, just like I was talking about in the podcast, like, did I earn today? Did I earn today? Did I put my best foot forward? Did I put my all into it? When I was working with a client, did I give them everything that I could? Most of my coaching sessions supposed to be an hour. It goes over. And I have to be respectful of that person's time. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you know, but I'm giving them everything I got. I'll be daggone if that day ever comes, and I'm cool with if it happens early, as long as I die finished. I just want to go finished. That's it. That's what I think about. That's what I think about. Going away finished. That's it. That's it. So when you respect the Steve Jobs was young. He was young. Young. He died finished, though. You can always say, oh, there's so much more to do. Maybe he went finished. He will never not be known for what he's known for now, not because of the success financially, but because of how many doors that he opened for people. It's people that have completely changed the direction of their families' lives in business because the iPhone was invented, because Apple stopped trying to be somebody else and started being themselves. And they changed people's lives. People that started accessory companies. When the iPhone was developed, it changed accessories that needed to be developed. When they started getting into new technology and doing things different than any other phone company, you had no Kias out there. You had Motorola's out there. You had BlackBerry that was huge at the time. Steve Jobs is known because he went finished. He went finished. It's like, it's got to be like, you got to wake up to that. You got to wake up to that. Go finished. Not old, go finished. So that's, you know what I'm saying, that like that's where I'm at. So Drew, you're saying any joy on the M50? No. No. So I'm doing the vlog every day in August. Which starts, not August, Vlogmas. I'm thinking about beta. Vlogmas. That starts tomorrow. So the vlog will start tomorrow. And that's what'll be on the channel for December is those vlogs. And then we'll still do the Friday live days for chats and stuff like that. But I'm going to be doing the vlogs for December, and that'll give me time to prepare my course for January. But yeah, all those details will be coming in the vlog. But no, Drew, no. Not at all. TEs, your TE, I don't know what that TEs. I learned that from you. I was reminded to start before you're ready. I don't know who TE is or what, or I'm missing that somehow. It's flying over my head. Silbury saying, preach, I needed to hear this. Yes, she is a worker. Go down. Alrighty. Everyone have a good night. Need to leave. Sorry. Best wish for all right, Carlos, have a great evening. Have a great evening. Getting There by Jillian Zoe Siegel. Have to check that out. Getting There. Oh, Michael making fun of my age. All right now. We're gonna kick you out the chat. I'm 16 years old. Wow, 2 whole years. Oh man. All right. Let me jump down. So Michael saying, my family was amazed at me writing and publishing my first book. Yep. It's not until they start seeing some stuff out there that, then it's not, they want to see the materialistic stuff for whatever reason, but it is what it is. So Nicole Dre, I think that's right. Welcome to the channel. Haven't seen you before, so welcome to the community. Some real talk. You ain't gonna get nothing else but real talk here. So it's okay to shed some tears, D. Sometimes, yeah, but if it's gonna be an ugly cry, just hold that in. You just gotta hold the ugly cries in. But guys, we went 20 minutes over. I apologize, but that's where I'm gonna leave it at for today. So I appreciate all of you guys being here. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Make sure you smash that like button if you got value out of today. And if you're watching this on the replay and you hung around to the end, thank you for being here. And I hope that you also received some value out of today's content. But guys, I disappeared. I'll come back. That didn't work. So guys, that's where I'm going to leave it at for today. Like I said, Vlogmas starts tomorrow, so I'll have those vlogs coming out and the updates on the M50 and all that good jazz. But guys, as always, my friends, live with passion. I will see you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas. Have a great evening, everyone.